All right, so today we're going to dive into something pretty cool.
Okay.
Setting up your own airbrush studio.
Oh, wow.
Like really turning that spare room or garage or maybe a shed, into a dedicated creative space.
Nice.
Yeah. So to help us on this journey, we're tapping into the wisdom of Pete Marin.
Oh,
He's the founder of Airbrush Events.
okay. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, so he's been in the airbrushing world for a long time, over 30 years actually. So
Wow, that's a lot of experience.
it is. So we've got a mix of his written guides and then a transcribed interview with him
Cool.
where he really gets into the details.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, so are you ready to unlock the secrets of a studio that's both functional and inspiring?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Oh.
So one thing that surprised me was how much he emphasizes the feel of the studio.
Really?
Yeah, it's not just about, having the right equipment. It's about creating an environment where you feel comfortable and inspired to work.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he's a big believer in starting with the basics. So before you even think about like fancy lighting or tools,
Right.
he really stresses the importance of temperature control.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're freezing in the winter or sweating in the summer, it's going to be tough to be creative.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so ensuring, your space has like proper heating and cooling, that's step one.
Got it.
Okay, so now let's talk about lighting.
Okay.
Because that obviously plays a crucial role in airbrushing.
Yeah, definitely.
So Pete is a big fan of fluorescent lighting for its brightness and even distribution. And he really recommends using a mix of daylight and warm light bulbs
Oh, interesting.
to get like the most accurate color representation in your artwork.
It's like having a painter's palette of light.
Exactly.
You need that balance to really see the true colors.
Yeah, and here's a simple trick that can make a big difference.
Okay.
Paint your studio walls and ceiling white
Oh.
because it maximizes light reflection,
Okay.
saves you money on electricity,
Right.
creates a clean and bright atmosphere.
It's like turning your studio into a giant light diffuser.
Exactly.
Right.
So now let's talk about something that no artist can escape,
Oh.
the mess.
Oh.
Yeah, things can get a little splattery when you're airbrushing.
Yeah, I bet.
So Pete suggests choosing flooring that's either super easy to clean
Okay.
or replaceable.
Right.
So think like sealed concrete or removable rugs.
That makes sense.
So that way you're not, worrying about every little drop or spill.
Yeah, that's smart.
Okay, so on to a topic that can make or break any creative space storage.
Yes.
Airbrush artists often work with a lot of different colors, tools, materials.
Right.
So how do you keep it all organized?
Yeah, any tips?
So Pete recommends covered shelves and a good shop sink for easy cleanup.
Oh.
But one thing that surprised me was his emphasis on a dedicated bottle rack for your airbrush paints.
Really?
I know it seems so obvious.
Yeah.
But it's something you might not think about until you're surrounded by a rainbow of paint bottles.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So speaking of details, let's talk about responsible disposal,
Okay.
especially for those using solvent-based paints. We need to be mindful of the environment.
Absolutely.
So he suggests keeping a solvent-resistant container and a funnel handy
Got it.
for collecting those leftover paints. And he reminds us to check for local hazardous waste disposal sites.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on to the easel,
Okay.
which is like the command center for all your airbrushing adventures.
Yeah.
So while a standard easel might do the trick,
Mm-hmm.
Pete actually suggests building his easel directly onto the wall using pegboard.
Wow, that's interesting.
I know, right? It's very space-saving.
Yeah.
And you can use pegboard hooks to hang shelves.
Oh, cool.
So it makes it adjustable for different canvas sizes or t-shirt sizes.
It's like a modular easel system.
Exactly. Okay,
Okay.
so ventilation is just as crucial as lighting.
Right.
You don't want to be breathing in those paint fumes all day.
Definitely not.
So ideally, you'd want a fan near your easel to whisk away the overspray.
Okay.
But if venting outside isn't possible,
Yeah.
he has this really interesting DIY solution.
What is it?
Have you heard of using an HVAC filter in front of a box fan?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Does that actually work?
It's surprisingly effective.
Wow.
It's not industrial strength or anything, but it's
Sure
way
not.
more budget friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about the heart and soul of any airbrush studio.
Okay.
The air compressor.
The powerhouse.
It is, and Pete has some strong opinions on which compressor is best for different needs.
I bet. So what does he recommend?
So for smaller projects like t-shirts,
Mm-hmm.
he recommends the Senko PC 10-10 compressor.
Okay.
And it's great because it's designed for consistent airflow at a lower PSI,
Okay.
which is ideal for delicate work on fabrics.
That makes sense.
You don't want to blast a t-shirt with too much pressure.
No.
But what if you're tackling bigger jobs like large canvases, murals?
Right. You need something bigger.
Yeah, so for those, he recommends a 10-gallon compressor with a powerful 1 or 2 horsepower motor that gives you the muscle you need to cover large surfaces.
Got it.
Now, what about those silent compressors I've heard about?
Oh, yeah.
They sound tempting, but I have a feeling there's a catch.
Yeah, what's the downside?
First of all, the price tag is pretty steep,
Oh,
often like $700 to $1,000.
wow.
And despite their name, they're not always as silent as you might hope.
Really?
They often require oil changes,
Oh.
can emit kind of an unpleasant smell when they heat up,
Interesting.
and they're not always as durable as their ladder counterparts.
So you're paying a premium for silence, but sacrificing power
Exactly.
and potentially dealing with maintenance headaches.
Yeah, so what's his solution?
I don't know. What is it?
Investing in a larger, more affordable compressor, and then getting strategic with noise reduction.
Okay, how do you do that?
So he suggests isolating the compressor in a separate room or enclosure and using fiberglass insulation to dampen the sound.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So you can achieve a similar level of quiet without breaking the bank.
Right, and you get a more robust compressor.
Exactly.
That's smart.
So, all right, before we move on to part 2,
Okay.
let's just quickly recap what we've covered so far.
Yeah.
Choosing a space that feels inspiring and comfortable with good temperature control. Excellent lighting. We talked about the messy realities of airbrushing,
Yes.
how to embrace them with easy-to-clean surfaces.
Right.
And then we tackled storage responsible disposal, that all-important easel and ventilation setup.
Yes, and the powerhouse, the air compressor.
Of course, we explored different options for various needs,
Right.
from smaller t-shirt designs to large-scale projects. Learned some clever tips for minimizing noise without sacrificing performance.
It's amazing how much thought goes into creating the perfect airbrushing environment.
It really is. But don't worry if it feels like a lot to take in.
Yeah.
We've got plenty more to explore.
Awesome.
We're just getting started.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Okay.